Welcome back to JavaScript programming series. In this video, we will discuss about arrays in JavaScript. In JavaScript, an array is an ordered collection of values. So array is a collection of values known as elements. So array is the collection of elements or values. So these elements are stored at a specific positions or indices. So within the array. So here you can see. So this is an array. This array is having 6 different values or elements. So these 6 elements are storing the different employee names. So first array element is storing Venkat employee name, and second array element is storing Shiva. Third element is storing employee name Raju, and fourth element is storing Keshav, and fifth element is storing Arjun, and the sixth element is storing the employee name Krishna. Okay, so these are the values we wanted to save inside the array, and you can see the top we have added few numbers. So the first element is identified with index 0. Okay, so array always starts with 0th index. Okay, so we can modify or read the values from an array using the index. That's where in an array index is very important. So you can see array in JavaScript, array always starts with 0th index. So if you want to read the first element, you need to read it with 0th index. If you want to read the third element inside an array, you need to read it with index 2. So like that. So if you want to read the last index, okay, that means sixth element, you need to read it with index number 5. So here these are the indexes, array indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. So you can store unlimited number of values inside JavaScript array, and these are the values of the array. So the top numbers indicated with green array is indexes of the array, and the next one, so indicated with the red color arrow, is the value of that particular array element. So you can see this array is storing 6 different employee names. Okay, so let us see how we can create and why we need JavaScript arrays. So why we need arrays in JavaScript. So you can see creating JavaScript arrays. Arrays can be created using the literal notation, that means square brackets or the array constructor. Okay, there are two different ways to create arrays in JavaScript. First one is using square brackets, and next one is using array constructor. So there is an array class inbuilt in JavaScript. So we can use that constructor to create the array. Okay, let us see the demo now. Okay, this is the previous demo we have seen. So let's rename this JS samples as the objects. So let's create one more file for arrays.js. So in this, let us try to create arrays. So before creating the arrays, so if you want to store the employee name, so we can store it with let employee name equal to Venkat. So like that we can store the employee name. So if you want to store the another employee name 1 equal to, this is the second employee, equal to Siva. Okay, so this is the first employee, and this one is the second employee, and this one is the third employee. So like this, so we can save any number of employees, but we need to create separate variables for each employee. If you want to print all these employee names, you need to print all the variables, so that you will end up writing so many lines of code. So now we have 5 employees. Some organizations will have 50 number of employees. Some organizations will have 500 employees, 1000 employees, 2000, 10,000 employees, like that. So if you want to store employee names in individual variables, so that will take lot of time, and it will also create lot of confusion. So like that, if you want to store multiple values, so we can go for arrays in JavaScript. Okay, let's create the JavaScript array. So here we can see, so employees. So like this, we can create the array in JavaScript. Here we have actually added the values also. So this is array creation in JavaScript. So let me print that console.log employees. Okay, let us see what we will get. So here, if you want to execute this, node space arrays.js, node space, so arrays.js. So what we got? Empty array. Okay, so this is how we can create the array with square brackets. Let us create the, so let students equal to new array. So this is the second syntax. So we can create with new constructor of the array class. So let us try to print this console.log students. Okay, so let me print this. You can see both are printing the empty arrays, both are same, but this is the cleaner and faster way approach, so you can use this. So now let us create the arrays with values inside it. So if you want to create array with values, so we can create, so like this, and if you want to create here, so you can pass the values like that, so that, so here we are creating the array along with values, some values inside that. So same here. So let us try to see what is the output. So you can see the employees array is having some employees inside that, and the students array also having some students inside that. So this is how we can create the arrays in JavaScript using the bracket notation, so or using the array constructor. Next one. So this is how we can create the arrays in JavaScript. Next one, let us try to access or read the array elements. So we can read the array elements using the bracket notation with element index. So you can see here, so we have already discussed that. So array always starts with 0th index. The index of this first element is 0. The index of the second element is 1. And the index of the third element is 2. So if you want to read the value John, so what is the index we need to use? Index 1, because array index always starts with 0. So let us try to read the values. So reading the values from array. So you can see here, so I'm reading the values from an array. So I'm reading the first value with index 0. I'm reading the second value with index 1, third value with index 2, fourth value with index 3. So let us see what is the output here. You can see that first two values printed the arrays. Let us comment this. So, and let me run it again. So we can see this time, so what is there inside 0th index? So Venkat, the value Venkat is there in the first element or 0th index. So, and second index, what is there? John. Third index, it is Smith. So, and here you can see, so we are trying to read the fourth value also, but the fourth value is not there in the array. That's where we will get the value undefined. So here you can see we got the value undefined. That means there is no element inside the third index or fourth value, fourth location. So this is how we will read the values from an array. So similarly, we can read from students also, same thing. same. You can see here. So first student we read. So similarly, we can read the values from students also. Okay, that's how we can read the values of an array. And let's move forward. And modifying the arrays. Modifying the arrays. Let us try to modify the array values. So if you want to modify the array values, so we need to use the bracket notation with their index. So like we have used the bracket notation for reading the values. So we can use the same bracket notation to modify the values. Updating the values in an array, you can see here. So I'm trying to update the second index value, that means third value. So what is there in third value? Smith. So I'm trying to update that Smith with Shiva. Okay. So now here we have Venkat, John and Smith. So I'm updating the third value of an array, that means 0, 1, 2, second index. Okay, second index. So let us try to print this before updation and after updation. Okay. So here you can see before updating the array element, we can see Venkat, John and Smith. So we have updated the last value with Shiva. You can see Venkat, John and Shiva. Okay. So that's how we can update the values. So if you want to update the values for any element, you can update. Let us update it for 0th element. So Raju, I'm updating. You can see initially it is Venkat, John and Smith, and after modification it is Raju, John and Shiva. Okay, so this is how we can modify the elements of an array using the bracket notation with their location index, element index. So this is how we can update the values of an array. Next. So key characteristics of JavaScript arrays. So arrays, as we have discussed, it's ordered collection. The index of the array is always ordered 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a numerical index. Elements are stored in a specific order and can be accessed by their numerical index. So 0 indexed. So in JavaScript, array always starts with 0 index. The first element of an array is at index 0 and the second index is at 1 and so on. So in JavaScript arrays, indexing always starts from 0 and 1, 2, 3, 4, so on, and resizable. So in JavaScript, arrays can be dynamically grow or shrink in size as elements are added or removed. Okay. In JavaScript, arrays can be dynamically grow or shrink in size as elements are added or removed. Okay, so just now we have seen creating the arrays with 3 values. So if you want, we can add more values, we can remove more values. Let us try to add more values. Adding new value to an array. Let us try to add new value. So here you can see we have only 0, 1, 2. So we have values only till index 2, 0, 1, 2. Now we are adding the fourth value at index 3. Okay. So let us try to print the values. Console.log employees. Then same thing after modifying, after modification. So now let us try to print it. You can see before modification, the array is having 3 values. After adding the new value, you can see the array is having 4th value. So, and also we can add the next value. Okay, so now you can see here, so we have directly added the value at fifth location, skipping the fourth location. That means, so we have already so values till fourth index, and we are skipping the fifth index and directly adding in the sixth place. So here you can see we have directly added value with index 5. We have skipped the index 4. That's where empty item is there. So, and you can see here, so we can add any number of elements to the array, so that in JavaScript arrays are dynamic. Okay, so let us try to modify the length of it. So before modifying the length, let us try to know the length of the array. Knowing the length of array. Okay, if you want to know the length of an array, you can use dot length property of that array. Okay, so let us try to see what is the length of an array. You can see the length of array is 6. Okay, after this change, the length is 6. The length of that particular array is 6. So if you want to modify the length, you can modify that length. Let us see the length of that array before and after modification. You can see, so after the modification, the length of array is 6. Now I have modified that length to 10, capacity 10. Now the array capacity increased to 10. Okay, so that array is reserved for 10 values now. Okay, like this we can save any number of values to the array. Okay, and also let us try to decrease the length. Let us make it to 2. Okay, so after modifying it to 2, let us try to see the values. Console.log employees. Okay, now we are seeing the length of the array, and we are printing the employees, and we are truncating the length to 2 from 6. Okay, and let us try to see it. Here you can see, so at this position the size of the array is 6. Okay, and we have printed those 6 values, and we have truncated the size to 2. After truncating the size of the array, you can see array is having only 2 values, knowing or modifying the length of the array. Okay, so like this you can modify the length of the array in JavaScript dynamically. So you can see that is a resizable. Arrays can be dynamically grow or shrink in size as elements are added or removed. So mixed data types. A single array can contain elements of different data types. For example, numbers, strings, objects, or even other arrays. In JavaScript, array can store any data type. That means value of type any data. So let us try to see that. Console. Let me comment this also. Storing different data types in an array. So this is a number, and this is a boolean, and this is an object, and this one is a function, and this is a array. And in the last, we can store the previous arrays also. Employees, comma, students. You can see here, so I have created an array here, so with the square brackets, okay, bracket notation, And here you can see I have saved the values of type string, and I have saved the value of type number, boolean, and this is JavaScript object we have discussed in the previous video, and this is a JavaScript function. Okay, so we will discuss this in next session. And here you can see we have saved the another array inside, and you can see, so employees array we have saved, employees array and students array we have created here, right? So we have saved those arrays also inside this array. Okay, so let me print that array, console.log simple array. Let me print that. You can see here. So what are all the values there inside this array? So Venkat value is there, 32 is there, true is there, object is there, and function is there, and this array is there, and there is another employees array is there, and students array is also there. So like this, so we can save any data type inside JavaScript array. So there is a function, right? If you want to read this function, I mean call this function. So which index it is having? So 0, 1, 2, 3, fourth index. It is there in the fourth index. Let us try to call that. Okay, so on top of that array, I am calling the fourth index. Okay, so here you can see, so function got returned. In the previous session, we have seen how to call the function, right? So if you call this function, you need to use the parenthesis, okay, invoking the function. Okay, now let us invoke that. You can see, so from that function, we have printed hello world. Okay, so here you can see, so this function is printing hello world message. Okay, so we have called that hello world function here. Okay, so that is printed, and you might have a question that why we are seeing the undefined here. So we are seeing the undefined here because this function is not returning anything. Okay, so if you want to return something, return this is function in array. Okay, so now let us try to execute same command. You can see hello world printed, and this message returned from the function inside array. Okay, you can see that. Okay, that is how we can store different data types inside JavaScript array. So that is this point, mixed data types. Next one is object based. Internally, JavaScript arrays are a special type of object inheriting properties and methods from array.prototype. So we have already discussed that. So modifying or knowing the length of the array. So we haven't added this length property to this array, right? So we have just created the array of employees. Then who added this length property? So how do we know this length property is there or not in an array? So this length property and few more functions got added to our JavaScript array from this array.prototype inbuilt class or methods in JavaScript. Okay, so you can see here, so these are the array methods. You can see JavaScript provides numerous built-in methods for manipulating arrays, including so push, pop, all these methods, and you can see in the last length property also there in that. Okay, all these inbuilt methods are getting added to our JavaScript array from this array.prototype. That's what the last point, object based. So let's go to last slide. So here you can see JavaScript provides numerous built-in methods for manipulating arrays, including so push, pop, shift, unshift, so splice, slice, for each map, filter, find, length. So about all these methods, we will be discussing in detail from the next session. So in this video, let us see it brief. So we will add push to add the new element to the array of the last index at the end of the array. So pop will remove the element from last. Shift removes the first element of an array. Unshift adds one or more elements to the beginning of the array. Okay, splice changes the contents of an array by removing or replacing existing elements and or adding new elements. Slice returns a copy of the array into new array object. For each executes a provided function once for each array element. So map will create new array populated with the results of calling a provided callback function every element in the calling array. Okay, filter. So we can use this filter to filter the elements inside an array. So find will be used to find and return the element from an array. So length property we have seen. Length property will be used to know the array length and to update or alter the array size. Okay. So this is about the basics of an array in JavaScript. So there are a lot of concepts to discuss about arrays in JavaScript. We will be discussing about all these methods detail and also other functionalities of arrays in future. Thank you.